Hey, what's up you guys, the Curious Owl here, and today I am doing the Birthstone Book Tag for the second time now. I did this tag about a couple years ago when I first started doing my tag videos, so if you want to go check out the first time I did this, I will leave a link down in the description for you guys, as well as a card if I can get it to work. Sometimes my older videos are not able to be carded because I don't know why, YouTube doesn't like me doing that. But this is a tag that basically takes all of the gemstones that are usually ascribed to specific months, and you answer questions based off those. This was a tag created by JG, or she's better known on Twitter as the Awkward Bookworm, I believe, and I've seen her everywhere on Twitter and I really like her. I think that she's very interesting and I've been meaning to watch some of her videos, but I just haven't had the time. With being in the middle of finals and stuff like that, as I record this video, it's the night before my first final exam and I'm just all kinds of busy with studying and stuff, but I wanted to take some time to do these videos so that I had a little bit of a break from all of that. But without further ado, let's get started. So the first question is for January, which is the Garnet Stone, and that is associated with warding off negative forces and dark energies. Name a book with the darkest / evilest character you can think of. The first one that comes to my head is none other than Seraphine de Cunye from the Beautiful Creature series. She is Lena's mother, but she is the worst of the worst. She's evil. She basically, the entire story, wants to just kill off her own daughter because her daughter, Lena, is considered to be a natural and is essentially going to be one of the most powerful casters in the entire world. And so because of that, Seraphine wants to kill her off because she wants to be the most powerful caster in the world, since before Lena came along she was. The second question is for February, which is the Amethyst Stone, and this is purple is associated with royalty. Name a book with regal qualities. You can base this off of characters or choose the king of all books. So the first book that I can think of that deals with royalty is The Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin. I just finished this in November and you guys can go check out my review for that if you'd like to go watch it. But this one basically is nothing but kingdoms and royalty and ruling and deceit and lies because of kingdoms and all this other stuff. It's a lot packed into it. Question 3 is for March, which is the Aquamarine Stone, which is washed out. Name a wishy-washy character, a character who is not strong or a follower. I think for this one, the first one that comes to mind is Ron from the Harry Potter series, but he does prove himself to be a fairly strong character towards the end of the series based on the fact that he is able to save Harry from the locket that they are trying to break, as it is one of the Horcruxes for Voldemort. Other than that, his whole role within the entirety of the series has been fairly minimal. He's been kind of more of a follower of Harry. He has his moments, don't get me wrong. He does have his great moments, especially in the first book. He takes down the entire chess scene that is towards the end of the book. And while that's great, other times he's mostly just kind of standing around not really doing anything. Question 4 is April, which is the Diamond, and that is a diamond in the rough. Name a book that you loved but is not well known. I think one of the last books that I would say I really love that I don't feel like gets a lot of attention on BookTube because it is an indie book is the Blood Magic series by Danielle Rose. This is from the indie publishing company called Off Tomes, and I really liked it. I think it's a very interesting new adult series. It's not without its problems, I will say. It does have a couple things that I'm not particularly a fan of, but I really like it. It's a really interesting vampire witch scenario. You've got people that are both, you've got people that are just one or the other, and I think that it really plays into some interesting dynamics between the two, and I just really liked it overall. It's pretty a good series. Question 5 is May, which is an emerald, and that is set to balance energy. Name 2 characters who balance each other well. I think the last book that I read that had balancing characters was Mr. Mercedes by Stephen King, and the 2 characters I can think of are Bill Hodges, who's one of the main characters, and then his friend Jerome, who is actually a 17-year-old kid, but Bill's known him pretty much his entire life. They're neighbors, and he's taking care of, his chores and stuff like that because Bill's not really able to do a lot. And I really liked them a lot. I think Jerome definitely brought a new perspective to a lot of Bill's working on the case that he's involved in the story, and really just kind of makes things a lot easier for Bill in all aspects, not just with the case, but in his life in general. And I just think that Jerome is a really beautiful, fresh face that makes it easier for Bill to continue living, considering how in the beginning of the story, he's incredibly depressed after having retired from the police force and just dealing with a lot of emotional problems. And I think Jerome's been one that has honestly made it a lot better for him. Question 6 is June, which is the Pearl, and that is associated with loyalty. Name a character who is loyal to the end. For this, I'm gonna have to go with Link from Beautiful Creatures. He's very much a loyal friend. He is always sticking up for Ethan. He's always by his side. No matter what kind of shenanigans the boys get into, Link is always there to lend a helping hand. He's always there to be a good friend. He's just a really good guy in general, even though he may not always make the best decisions in life. Question 7 is July, which is my birth month. It is the Ruby, and that is Blood Red. Name a book that made your blood boil, one that made you angry. Oh man, I haven't had a book make me angry in a long time, but I think the last one I can recall was Insomnia by Stephen King. It just made me so angry because I felt like I didn't understand what was really even going on in the entire story, and I felt like so much of it could have been cut out, and I don't really understand much of what the story was about. Apparently, it has something to do with the Dark Tower series, from what I know. I heard somebody tell me that before, and I don't quite understand, but I think a lot of the supernatural elements played into the Dark Tower series. Like, it's not exactly a part of it. It's kind of like there are things about it that line up with the Dark Tower series somehow. I don't quite know. I've not read the whole series, so I don't know for sure, but it just made me so angry because I didn't understand anything that was going on, and it felt like it just dragged on and on and on that I had to finally just DNF it. Question 8 is August, which is a peridot, and that is pale green. It pales in comparison to other gems. Ha, pun. And this is name a supporting character who you like better than the main character. Oh, for sure, Hermione. I so prefer Hermione over Harry any day. Like, I love Harry, don't get me wrong. Harry is one of my more favorite main characters, but Hermione is just wonderful. She's a beautiful human being. I think she's just so underrated throughout the entire series. Like, people sleep on Hermione, I think, when it comes to her being a secondary character. Question 9 is September, which is Sapphire, and this is blue like the ocean, which is calming. Name a book that had a calming effect on you. As weird as it is, the book I'm currently working through now, which is The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt, has a calming effect on me. And I think it's just the fact that I'm listening to the audiobook in particular, because the narration of the Goldfinch is very smooth, and it's very kind of like go with the flowy kind of voice. It's just, I don't know, something about it. It's like very much a lullaby kind of thing, but at the same time, the content of the book itself is so just heavy and disturbing that it almost makes it not calming, but I think just the narration more so than anything is like the only calming aspect of that entire book. Question 10 is October, which is the Opal, which is iridescent. Name an iridescent book. This can be a book with a beautiful cover, shiny, lots of color, or you could base it off of a character who is quirky and colorful. Well, I don't have any of my books with me because honestly, I'm starting to move out of my apartment and I didn't want to have any of my books with me, so I'm gonna go with the character. The last character that I thought was really quirky and colorful was probably, honestly, Arya from the Game of Thrones series, because Arya is very different from the entire rest of the world within this story, because she's a daughter of one of the most prominent characters of the story. He's a very strong knight. Everyone knows who he is. But she's not one to follow the gender norms that are within this society. Like, she wants to be able to fight. She wants to be able to be like a knight, whereas her sister Sansa is very much against that. She wants to just play by the traditional rules and be the doting wife and all that stuff when she grows up. Arya's like, screw all that. I want to fight. I want to do swordplay and all this stuff. And she's so wonderful. I just really like her a lot, even though I wasn't quite sure why her perspective was really given through the book, which I talk about in my review of Game of Thrones. I really enjoyed her as a character by herself. Question 11 is November, which is a topaz, which is associated with resilience. Name a book or books with a character who rises to the top in a time of adversity. For this one, for some reason, all I'm thinking about is Day from the Legend series by Marie Lu. I don't know if he necessarily rises to the top, but he definitely fights with all of the strength that is in his body throughout that entire series. And I really liked him a lot because he did have a lot of adversity in his way, and I feel like he just fared all of it very, very well. And finally, the last question is December, which is a blue zircon, which is associated with friendship. Name a book with a friendship you want to be a part of. Pretty much my favorite books, all of the friends I want to be a part of. I think I would love to be a part of the trio and make it a quartet in the Harry Potter series. I would love to be Ethan and Lena and Link's friends. I would love to be in the Renegades. I would love to be, you know, in every friendship that there is within any of my favorite books. I really just can't pick one because all of them are very, very great. And I want these fictional characters to be my friends because I don't have very many friends in my real life. So there you guys go. Those are all the questions for the Birthstone Book Tag. Like I said, I did do this about a couple years ago, so you can go check that out down in the description. And it was really fun to do this one again. I really liked doing it the first time, and I think some of my answers changed for this one. I highly doubt many have changed though, because I'm very stuck in my old ways. I'm very stuck in the books that I really, really love. So it's sometimes really hard for me to go outside of that, but I think I did at least change some of my answers, which was great. So let me know how I did, if you think I changed some of my answers, if you watched both of them. If you have any answers that you'd like to share, you can go ahead and share down in the comments. Otherwise, I will leave all the questions down in the description for you guys to do this tag yourselves. And if you guys did enjoy this video, please do give it a big thumbs up. And if you're not already and you'd like to be, hit the button down below and subscribe to become an owlet in our flock. And I will see all of you guys in my next video. Bye guys!